Jefferson County, 43952, Steubenville, Ohio.
7 years of hardship, seen enough.
Steubenville!
7 years of bullshit, observed enough. 7 years of melodrama, burned enough. Seen a lot of sloppy cats bite the dust. 7 years of hardship, seen enough.
Steubenville!
7 years of bullshit, observed enough. 7 years of melodrama, burned enough. Seen a lot of sloppy cats bite the dust. 7 years of hardship, seen enough.
Steubenville!
7 years of bullshit, observed enough. 7 years of melodrama, burned enough. Seen a lot of sloppy cats bite the dust. 7 years of hardship, seen enough.
Steubenville!
7 years of bullshit, observed enough. 7 years of melodrama, burned enough. Seen a lot of sloppy cats bite the dust.
Welcome again to the Peace, Knowledge, Wisdom Experience, where we explore the Black experience in America. You are invited in to comment and dialogue with us as we search for peace, knowledge, and wisdom in a world that seems to operate without it. What we ask of you is to subscribe to our channel and help us grow. Also, share its channel with your friends and family. Hitting the like buttons helps us with knowing what kind of content you like and what we can do better. Buckle up for a great show. Peace, knowledge, and wisdom. This is the show that's designed to respect all views, opinions, and perspectives, but we highlight context, and that's really important. And so I want you to get ready for this show today. Got a high-profile, controversial guest, and that's the negative anxiety-giving Stephon Hill. What's happening?
What's going on? What's going on? Let me get my mic together.
Good thing I wanted everybody to be in on this particular interview with you on peace, knowledge, and wisdom, because we are going right now to preview your show On the Contrary. It's going to be a show on MACTV that you guys can all get. The MACTV Network, obviously, on our YouTube channel, you'll be able to get all of his videos. And the name of it is On the Contrary. And what I want to start this interview with very, very fast with is what will the show be about?
Well, the premise of the show will necessarily be just my life experiences, things I see, things I agree with, disagree with, just my life experience, just a roller coaster of different things, emotions, mental health, life as a Black man in this world, in this environment.
Good. I follow you on social media, Facebook mainly, and I've seen a lot of the stuff that you post, a lot of food. I know you're a foodie.
Yeah.
And then, but a lot of, I'm going to call them, I don't know.
Hot button topics
that you're willing to throw out there. And is that something we can expect from the show itself? Would some of those things be kind of topics for your show?
Absolutely. I feel the hot button topics are the ones, and a lot of things I just post to provoke thought, not necessarily give you my opinion to paint you in the corner or anything such as that. It's just to provoke thought. Because a lot of different things that go on in our lives, a lot of people keep them on their chest rather than voicing them. So you start keeping things on your chest, on your head, that affects your mental health. So a lot of things I post, just to provoke your thought, and maybe it could touch somebody that was thinking the same thing. I do a lot of that, just, sometimes to stir the pot, sometimes I'll do subliminal, sometimes I'll do direct, just because, I'm the type of person that, and it's been this way since I was a child. I'm an antagonist type person, I guess.
That the word you used was a word I couldn't get at the time, which is subliminal. A lot of your messages are subliminal. Will they, in this format, on the contrary, will this be a chance that we won't have to worry about if it's subliminal or not? We'll actually know what you're thinking about specifics, not necessarily people.
Well, yeah,
but specific thoughts and opinions that you might have.
Well, definitely, I'm going to give you direct things I'm going to talk about. Some things, I'm going to, keep names out of it to protect the innocent, so to speak. But yeah, I'm going to do it that way. It'll be a direct thing, or in this format, it'll be direct. The things we'll talk about will be direct. And it'll also be things that provoke thought. You never know. It could be relationship circumstances. It could be job circumstances. It could be something I experienced in my own life. So, I'll preface anything I say with disclaimers.
Is the title of the show, is there anything in the title, or is that just a catchy title for the show, or is there an actual message, or does that title relate to what we're going to be seeing?
It relates to the fact of how I think.
Okay.
I think outside the box. So a lot of different things that I come up with in my own head. It's just really on the contrary. Like everything has I would say a lot of people have status quo, or we do this because we've always done it. And I think that's one of the most dangerous statements in the English language is, we do this because this is the way we've always done it. Well, I mean, that shows no growth. That shows no forward thinking. And I think that's just bad in our society now, because if you're stuck in the same peg that you've been in, you have on blinders. So obviously you're just the way you think is probably most likely going to disrespect somebody else's thought process because you're not growing as a person.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. Can you give me, I'm going to give you a hot button issue.
Mm-hmm.
And let me know if on the contrary would be something that we might get your opinion on these things. So the first one I'll do is religion. Do you have contrary views on religion? Do you think you're straightforward?
I have contrary views on religion. And I would start with the basis of it. I was raised in the church. My grandmother was a mother in the church. So I used to sit next to her, and when I would question things, she would pinch me. I think I still got bruises on my ribs from her pinching me. God rest her soul. But as I got older, and this is what I mean about forward thinking, everything that's in the Bible doesn't necessarily fit everything that we're doing now. That doesn't say that it's wrong. It just says that it's different. And I think a lot of people just want to stick to the Bible, and you can't really you can't use that as a roadmap because the roads have changed. And I think I have a lot of different views concerning that. I mean, I understand being saved. I understand being, sanctified. I understand speaking in tongues. I understand all these different things. And those are things that I've done. But I also understand, okay, if in order for a Christian to get to heaven, you need to die. So why are so many people scared to die? If I'm going to get to heaven, why not die? Why? And I'm not saying die whether killing yourself, because if you kill yourself, you're going to hell. That's what we've all been raised to understand.
Right.
But if every Christian understands that the only way I'm getting to heaven, not necessarily die, because there is a rapture. So when that horn blows and that sky cracks, there is a rapture. So you may not necessarily be in the grave, but the people that are in that grave, they're going to raise. But why are so many people scared to die?
Yeah.
So those are just different things that I think about. And other people will come with scriptures and they'll give me different things. There's a lot of different scriptures that I know too, but even the devil knew the Bible. So in the Bible doesn't really teach me anything about your sanctity or anything like that. Right. So for me, I look at people, I think being in the church and being raised in the church is the reason why I don't go to church now.
Okay. And again, religion always is a hot button topic, and
it's caused wars.
It's caused wars, obviously. So let's go to the next one. Sex, whether it's gender, whether it's just battle of the sexes, whether it's the actual act of having sex, or provoke. I don't know what you see on TV. How promiscuous we see that the shows are now as it relates to that. But let's just go right with gender.
Okay.
Male, female.
Okay.
Any thoughts on male, female? Anything that's controversial thoughts that you might have that's different than the way people see things? Kind of like what you just said about religion.
I wouldn't think that it's on. I wouldn't be contrarian to. I believe that it's male and female. And I don't want to get into the whole biological X and Y chromosomes. It's male and female. There's parts that's what it is. Now, when we grew up, we knew who was sweet and we knew who wasn't. Like, you know, I had cousins that was a little sweet, and you had the girls that were tomboys that you would hoop with and stuff. You knew who they were, but it wasn't looked at as that. Like, you know, you just, you know, I've come from a school of mind your business. So whether if you're transgender, whatever, you're cross-dressed, any of those things, that's your business. Now, if you're not killing anybody or you're not doing anything, you're not harming anyone, you know, directly, that's your business. And I can't, like, speaking on, you know, religion, whenever you get asked about your sins and whenever you get asked about what you did, they're not going to ask me about you.
Right.
So if you choose to do these things, then that's your business.
Right. Now, on your show, I would assume at some point that will come up because we do have a big, not big, I'll say right now.
I won't necessarily touch on gender and all that. You know what I mean? I won't necessarily do. If we're speaking about the genders, I will talk about the relationship between the genders.
Okay.
What the dynamic is between male and female now.
So relationships. Oh, okay.
You know, the dynamic within the home, dynamic within the jobs, you know, different things, how to court a woman. You know, everyone has their different opinions on how that was, but, you know, I was raised to court a woman in a certain way, how to treat a woman in a certain way. Mm-hmm. You know, and then there's going to be some, you know, some things that you learn along the way, some street things, some different things. But, you know, that I just see it as that. It just makes sense to do it in that manner. Now, there's going to be some funny things, of course, incorporated with that, but I won't necessarily talk about the transgender and things of that nature. And the reason why I won't, well, I may, but I don't plan on it necessarily. If it comes up in conversation, yes, I'll discuss it. But the reason why I won't is because, again, I believe in minding your business. If that person wants to put on panties and a wig, go ahead and put on panties and a wig. But don't be out here trying to rob a bank, and don't be trying to, you know, groom children into do that same thing. Stay away from the kids with that.
Got it. Let's go here real quick. Politics.
Mm-hmm.
Any politics? Anything that's controversial about what you might deem as the generality of politics?
Well, just in us, just in our relationship,
mm-hmm.
and how you used to grind me up about voting,
right?
And how I was like, man, go ahead with that. I'm not voting because it can't. My little drop in the bucket can't make a difference. So I'm a forward thinker. I have to be, because I can't want other people to be forward thinkers and me not be one. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I'm going to lead by example. So when you were giving me that angle of it and what you thought, and then you were giving me bullet points on why it was effective or ineffective, I was like, you know what? It does make sense. So one drop in the bucket can accumulate to many drops, and then you fill the bucket. Exactly. So then I understood it deeper, and then we did a voter registration. I don't think anyone has really done that here on WTOV9. So, you know, I did that based on your tutelage. You know what I mean? Like in front of the school and everything. Like judges, we had judges, lawyers, representatives in the state. I think we're gonna have to do that again, just for our community, because I think the Black community has the same mentality I had when me and you first talked about it. How could I matter? Like, what in the world would my vote matter? And it may not matter, because I also believe Democrats and Republicans, liberals, or whatever it is two wings on the same bird, because there's a bottom line to it. There's an agenda. There's a narrative. Yeah. So I understand it. So politics, it just depends on, it's the flavor of the month. Like growing up, I don't know how many presidents I didn't see. Reagan, you had the Reaganomics. That was the narrative. They had, drugs were huge then. You had Oliver North. You had all that going on. Drugs was big. That was in the 80s. So when that came around, that was crack. How that affected our community, that was huge. Mm-hmm. The drug laws, that was huge. Then they got Clinton. Most people don't even talk about Clinton and Biden. They orchestrated and architect the mandatory, the crime bill, the mandatory minimums. I've been affected by the mandatory minimum. So those type of things are things that, we can definitely talk on. I can only give you my personal thought process on that. I wouldn't delve too deep into it. You know, you get people that are so into it, well, this, that, and the third. But, you know,
Let me say this. One of the things on Peace, Knowledge, and Wisdom that I will try to do, we know this is more of a preview show for your show. However, the whole MACTV network that you'll be a part of, how on the contrary will be a part of, the goal is for us as a black community, as a community as a whole, to understand that people's opinions matter. Their perspectives matter. And then those things have to be put in context. And I say that to say that, I can think you're wrong, but as you say it, I need your drop in that bucket for us to make a full bucket. So it'd be nice to be able to understand your opinion and be able to have some intellect. The thing that I want us to do more is understand what we understand what we don't understand. And then once we understand, show some wisdom. But I think a lot of times when you said you think that a lot of the black community feels like you used to feel. My problem with
also, just to piggyback off of that, not only feel the way I feel, a lot of the black community is misinformed.
Yes. And I'm
so like you said, everyone's opinion matters, their perspectives matter, and all those different things. Yes, they do. But those opinions and perspectives are derived from something that's misinformed. So I could think that 2 + 2 is 7. But the foundation of me thinking 2 + 2 is 7 is because I learned wrong in the beginning. So a lot comes from that in our community. Like, I just believe that if you knew better, you do better. That's just, pretty much it.
And I think we got to be able to kind of highlight what issues, whether you call them problems, whether you call them issues, whether you call them
what affect our community.
Yeah, the things that affect us. But again, as we find something as we find a problem, we need to really worry about fixing it and not just say what it is. So I say that to say, you said that we're uninformed, which is true. But I think we're misinformed. But I also think we're, for lack of a better term, lazy as it relates to thinking, as it relates to wanting to know why we're misinformed. Once you become misinformed, do you know that you're misinformed?
What's the foundation of laziness? Why do the other races believe that black people are lazy and we built America? Why do they think that?
Well, let me just say this. They want us to think that.
That ding, 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 ding.
So
that's
I used a bad
basis
word. I didn't mean physically lazy. I meant mentally lazy.
Well, the same thing.
Okay.
They coincide.
But I mean, my thing is that you've got so many people who don't know what it. When we get into talk about voting, this is my problem with people who say they don't vote. My problem is simply they can tell you things like, "Well, my vote don't count," or "That's just a conspiracy, the way that's done, this, that, and the other. They ain't never done nothing for us. They want us to vote the one way or what have you." My problem is, what does not voting do? Like, tell me that you don't vote because there's some progress that not voting, there's something that good happens from not voting. If you just do it just to be anti, I got the question that maybe you're not anti, you just don't get involved, and you just don't want to go register. You just don't want to have the responsibility to vote. You don't want to get into the issues to know why you have to vote. Go ahead.
Before you ask that question, everything I believe and how my thought process is, everything, you can't get from A to D without B and C. So before you would ask somebody why they wouldn't vote, you would ask them their issues and their problems. Because they could just say, I just don't. Because a person can believe in their mind, my voting could yield the same result as my not voting.
Correct.
So if I find out what your issues are and what your foundation of your thought process is, now I can delve into how we can fix that.
Correct.
So that's getting from A, B to C to D.
Yes.
I don't want to necessarily, and I understand what you were meaning, I don't necessarily want to go from A to D. Like, well, why don't you vote? That's just like a blanket kind of thing. Well, I don't. You know what I mean? That's an easy answer. Well, I just don't.
That's again, why do you need to take the easy answer? Because you don't want to think. You don't want to qualify your statement by having an actual reason why you do it. And that's what I'm saying. We need to understand that when we do that, what are we missing? So, for instance, because what you said is true.
Discovery questions, and I'm done telemarketing, cold calling,
Mhm.
and all that. So, and I can sell fire and hell. So the thing is, the reason why I say that is my discovery questions is what gets you to make them think. If you just ask that vague question, like if I call somebody and I'm selling a credit card and I say, do you want a credit card? They say, no, that'll bring more debt. I can't pay my bills now. No. That's not how I'm going to do it. How I want to do it is, oh, how are you doing today? Mm-hmm. Oh man, I'm good, man. But my hot water tank went out. Your hot water tank went out. Well, listen, I can absolutely help you with that. And how I can help you is this credit card has a no annual fee, a low APR, and your first purchase, we, match your purchases. So they're like, wait a minute. I never talk about debt.
Mhm.
I never talk about any of these things. I lead in with discovery questions. So while I'm trying to help you too, if I'm not going to ask you, well, why don't you vote? Because I don't want to. And then that's the end of the conversation. And then the conversation goes into a push and pull situation. You don't ever want that. I want you to think as to why what I'm saying to you is so important.
And that's a good way. That's a good way to go about it. My thoughts in it is simply let's just go with what you talked about in selling something, whatever.
Mhm.
But I have been starting to get the feeling that I'm trying to sell water to someone in the desert. Like, I don't understand why I need to have some type of strategy to let you know you're thirsty.
The problem is
And I got water.
that thought though, Mac, is you're thinking why they're thinking the way they're thinking.
Mhm.
That you shouldn't think that way.
Mhm.
You don't care. What you should be thinking as a seller is the end result, the bottom line. I don't care why you don't want water in the desert. I don't care why you're not thirsty. What I care about is why I'm gonna sell you this water.
True.
And why I'm gonna make it real to you as to why you need this water. I'm gonna create a need based on my conversation, my rhetoric.
And that's what we need to have a deeper conversation. So we're going to wrap this up here. I got I had two.
Mm-hmm.
One was sports and the other one was race. But because we don't have a lot of time, I'll go with sports.
Okay.
Sports.
What about
Controversial? Is there anything that you feel, whether it's pro sports and what we're seeing now, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, boxing?
Sports has a bottom line. Just
MMA.
Yeah, sports has a bottom line just like everything else. And the bottom line is money.
Okay.
Whatever generates the most consumers, the most revenue is where it's going to go. People talk about, oh, they don't watch girls basketball. Well, most of those people that are running girls basketball kind of think like you think because they're older people.
Mm-hmm. Did you just call me old?
Older than me. So,
Okay.
they're older people. So they don't understand how to sell the product. They keep thinking, man, why won't they watch it? Don't think about why they won't watch it. Create the buzz so they will watch it. So with sports, it's all about revenue. It's truly about revenue. If we go to the high school, think about it, like OHS, I call it OSHA. If you look at that, they claim that they're a nonprofit organization, but they take the gate from the playoffs. They let 16 teams get into the playoffs in high school, and they take the gate. So somewhere like Big Red, where the gate's going to be big, they get that money. And they get it
And what do
all
they do
over
with
the
that
state,
money?
all from Division I to 7.
And what do they do with that money?
That's a good question. Maybe we can have somebody on and have that conversation.
And we're going to have a lot of these kind of conversations because my problem I'm starting to have is, again, with the voting and every problem we have. Why don't we know?
Who?
You, me.
Well, I don't know what they do to
Yeah,
me.
like why
Well, I
don't
have
we
an
know?
opinion on what they do. It goes in somebody's pocket.
But is it possible to find out?
You can ask. You can have an audit.
And that's our problem. We don't ask. We don't want to do the work to know the answer. We'd rather just have an opinion.
I don't necessarily think it's about doing the work. In some cases it's about doing the work. A lot of times, and most times, I believe is everyone's indoctrinated to just fall in line.
Well, the reason I say that is, what if you find out that what they're doing with the money is paying for the insurance for OSHA to be responsible for every single game in case somebody gets hurt or sues, that the premium on that is $30,000 a
The
year.
schools pay for that insurance.
Okay, again, I just wanted to give a hypothetical.
Oh, okay.
My point would be is we're mad about something and we question the integrity of the people of OSHA. without knowing for sure that there's something to question. We just don't want to pay the money, or we think we see money being had. And I just say that. I say that not because I know the answer or not. I say that because let's start do more researching. Let's start
two
more
things, and they're both cliches. When there's smoke, there's fire, and follow the money. And so I don't have to necessarily think that they, driving a Mercedes, but I can guarantee you most of them ain't driving a Chevy Cavalier.
And that's possible.
And I ain't saying he's stealing money. I'm not saying he's stealing money.
But if you thought they were stealing money, you would say that, right? At least on your show, you would say that.
Yeah.
Okay. Good deal. And that's, guys, we're going to wrap this up. I thank you. Thank you for the interview. I appreciate you coming on board, MACTV Network, having the show On the Contrary. Again, everyone, MACTV Network is going to be the YouTube channel that you're going to tune into to get shows like On the Contrary, shows like Peace, Knowledge, and Wisdom. We're going to have Raw Reality with Brother Greg Roby, a powerful preacher, a powerful man of God, and a gentleman that's going to have a show called Raw Reality that's going to touch on a lot of issues as you talked about. I don't know which one's going to be more controversial, but I'll wait and see. But I know what they'll all have. There's a lot of opinion, a lot of facts, some directness, truth. All of those things will be coming out in those shows. And then we're also going to have, as you guys all know and love, Mac and Jet Live. We're going to be, our Facebook show will be on MACTV Network, also on that YouTube channel, on our YouTube channel. So tune in for that. And so for Mr. Stephon Hill and myself, Mike McIntyre, and our producer, Erica Johnson, good night and see you later.
Jefferson County, 43952, Steubenville, Ohio.
7 years of hardship, seen enough. 7
Steubenville.
years of bullshit, observed enough. 7 years of melodrama, burned enough. Seen a lot of sloppy cats bite the dust. 7 years of hardship, seen enough. 7
Steubenville.
years of bullshit, observed enough. 7 years of melodrama, burned enough. Seen a lot of sloppy cats bite the dust. 7 years of hardship, seen enough. 7
Steubenville.
years of bullshit, observed enough. 7 years of melodrama, burned enough. Seen a lot of sloppy cats bite the dust. 7 years of hardship, seen enough. 7
Steubenville.
years of bullshit, observed enough. 7 years of melodrama, burned enough. Seen a lot of sloppy cats bite the dust.